Hello, friends and funkyplaybrothers, and please remember to subscribe to our YouTube. And today I'm reading Five Nights at Freddy's Tales from the PIZZAPLEX, number 7, Tiger Rock, by Scott CAWTHON, Kelly Parra, and Adrian Wagger. The first story I'm reading is Tiger Rock, Part 1. Hey, Kay protested. Are you trying to pull my arm off? Stepping through the grand quadruple door glass and gleaming chrome entrance to the Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex. Kai inhaled the aromas of spicy pizza sauce and sweet cotton candy as he shook off his overeager, amped-up friend Todd. As usual, didn't think Kay was moving fast enough. Asher, the last of the timeless trio, as Kay and his two best buddies called themselves, laughed as he followed Kay and Todd inside. Face it, Asher said. You're just too slow, Kay. Kay laughed too. It was an old joke. Kay had been born on Oahu, and he'd spent his first 7 years on the island with his native Hawaiian mother and his cowboy dad, born and raised on a ranch in Wyoming. Between the Hawaii time attitude of his mom and the what's your hurry Pawadana mindset of his dad, Kai was known for being chill. Todd regularly accused Kai of being so laid back that he was particularly horizontal. Come on, you guys, Todd urged. He waved his arms around and barely missed whacking a pretty teen girl in the face. She shot Todd a dirty look. He was obviously to it. He was oblivious to it, as usual, too busy looking around. Kay couldn't blame him. The PIZZAPLEX was seriously cool, maybe the only fun place in their small town. They'd been thrilled when it was built, but it was no longer new to Kay and Todd and Asher. They'd seen the blacklight play area for the little kids, climbing toys, slides, and foam building blocks set up around a glitter ball pit. They'd gazed up at the stained glass cupola that caped the center of the Pizzaplex's dome, and they'd been inside the castle-like two-story theater round rotunda that sat under the kaleidoscopic spray of light that came through the stained glass. They'd investigated every single one of the game businesses and shops and restaurants. They'd eaten at least a dozen pizzas in the flashy neon lit mirrored ceilinged main dining room, and they'd brought more than their fair share of Freddy's themed clothing and souvenirs. They'd driven the go-karts on the tracks that crisscrossed over and under the walkways connected to all the various parts of the Pizzaplex, and they'd ridden several times the roller coasters that swooped throughout the Pizzaplex. Its tracks entwining with a seemingly endless maze of colorful climbing tubes. They'd watched the animatronic performances, and they knew by heart all the rock and pop songs animatronics played, and all the theme music pounding from the various game areas. They also knew the sounds of the games, and the ping and beeps, the buzzes and the vrooms, the hums and the dings. By now, Kay and his friends knew the bedazzled chaos of the Pizzaplex well, as they knew one another's homes. In fact, before Kay went to sleep at night, he often closed his eyes and lost himself in the endless, consistent motion of the Pizzaplex brilliant lights, cheery music, and buoyant crowds. The otherworldly, over-the-top magnificence of the Pizzaplex cloaked with the everyday life stuff that sometimes got him down. But besides this familiarity, Todd was always wide-eyed, almost starstruck when they were here. He acted as if each of their visits to the magical fun dome was their first. But that was Todd. He was all about being present. You have to make every moment count, Todd liked to say. Todd had been the first to call them the Timeless Trio, a name he picked because they didn't fit in with the rest of their sixth grade class. Time is a construct. It doesn't exist. The only real thing is now, he declared. Kay and Asher didn't really get Todd's endless blabbering about the illusion nature of time, but they thought the name was cool. Come on, Todd repeated for at least the third time. He tried to grab Kay's arm again. Kay sidestepped his friend and shook his head. He wondered, not for the first time, why someone who lived in the present was always such in a hurry. The storyteller's tree isn't going anywhere, Kay said, as Kay followed Todd through the boisterous PIZZAPLEX crowd. He had to admit that he too was excited about seeing the tree. They hadn't been to the PIZZAPLEX in a couple weeks, and in that time they'd overheard several kids at school talking about the tree that housed the storyteller, a cutting-edge program that was supposed to feed storylines to the entertaining animatronics. Can you imagine the code that went into programming the storyteller? Asher had asked after they'd heard about it. Asher had gone online to read up on the new PIZZAPLEX feature, and he talked endlessly about it using programming jargon that neither Kay nor Todd understood. Even though Kay, Todd, and Asher were close friends, they couldn't have been more different. Kay, who knew his name meant sea, was pretty relaxed about life in general. Yeah, things sometimes got to him, but most of the time he could go with the flow. Something his mom always encouraged him to do. That that was her nature. Kay's mom was an ER nurse, but somehow she never let the stress get to her. She didn't get rattled, no matter how many long hours she had to work or what she had to deal with. You have to ride the waves of life, Kay, she often told him. In Hawaii, his mom had literally ridden the waves. She just started teaching Kay to surf when his dad had moved to the mainland to run a startup real estate development company, and they moved here into a town 1,000 miles from the nearest waves. Kay missed the ocean, but he was okay with where they live now. He liked how the place had seasons, how the trees' leaves turned orange and yellow in the fall, and how the snow fell in the winter. It was an okay trade-off for ocean waves. Kay hadn't left the island behind him, though. Looking more like his black-haired, brown-eyed, and dark-skinned mom than his blonde, blue-eyed dad. His sister was the opposite. She and Kai barely looked related. Kai also had his mother's short, slight shape. This squat appearance, combined with the Hawaiian shirts and bagged cotton pants he preferred to be the solid-colored T-shirts and jeans of his classmates, made him stand out. So did his tendency to zone out and daydream. Because Kay's mind wandered so much, he didn't do so well in school. He didn't care much about what he was being taught. He was more interested in nature and art and the spirit world. In contrast to Kay, Todd was tall, skinny, and frantic, with long, unusual messy hair, nearly as orange as the average carrot, and a pale face painted almost brown by freckles. Todd stood out in school as much or more than Kay did. Todd, however, had no trouble with his schoolwork. He was a straight A student who loved to learn. When he wasn't hanging out with Kay and Asher, Todd was always sprawled out on his bed reading a book, with foot jittering the whole time. His room was so stuffed with books that there was barely enough room for his furniture, or for Asher and Kay when they visited him. So, friends, thanks for listening. Tune in next time for part 2 of Tiger Rock. I think that the first part of this book was okay. it talks about this tree that isn't in the normal PizzaPlex game. A lot of things in these books aren't in the normal PizzaPlex game, but they sound cool enough where they should be in the security breach game. But we'll find out what happens next time and what's inside this tree. So, friends, thanks for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Follow us on Twitter at the Funky Play Bros. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at the Funky Play Brothers. Support our vlog at Cash App with the $sign Funky Play Bros so you can have more unboxings, more taste tests, more adventures, more monies, and support. Thank you for watching. Bye.